Every name was Korean, every signature was legitimate, and the probate clerk who couldn't prove she existed was the only one who noticed. Yara Kweku-Han pressed her thumb against the scanner for the third time. The green light refused to turn. Around her, Seoul's registry office hummed with the click of stamps and the shuffle of inheritance files, documents that decided who mattered and who didn't. Her supervisor glanced over, then away. That look said everything. "You again?" "System error," Yara murmured, stepping aside. She knew it wasn't. She'd checked the digital family registry that morning out of habit, the way some people check their reflection. Her name, listed under her mother's marriage to Han Seok-jin 29 years ago, had vanished. Not archived, not transferred, deleted. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as she walked to her desk, passing clerks who'd worked beside her for 3 years without learning how to pronounce Kweku. Her phone vibrated. A legal notice. Estate freeze pending verification of claimants. Han family matter. Immediate action required. Her mother had been dead 8 months. The will had been clear, and now someone was erasing her from the paperwork. Yara's fingers found the edge of her desk. Breathe. She'd survived immigration queues that pretended not to see her mother. She'd survived middle school classrooms where teachers mispronounced her name daily, never bothering to learn. She'd survived by being invisible when it helped and indispensable when it didn't. But this was different. This was her inheritance. The apartment in Itaewon her mother had scrubbed floors to afford. The savings account that proved she'd belonged here. The letters she'd written in Twi and Korean both, trying to build a bridge her daughter could walk across. "Yara-si," the supervisor's voice cut through her thoughts. Han Jae-rin-nim's office called. They want to see the probate file. Today. She looked up. That file is sealed pending. Today. The supervisor's face was apologetic, but his hand was already reaching for the drawer. This was how power worked in Seoul, quietly, through phone calls and polite requests that weren't requests at all. Yara stood. "I'll deliver it myself." "That's not—" "I said I'll deliver it." Her jaw tightened. The supervisor blinked, then nodded. The Han family compound sat behind walls that predated the Korean War, nestled between Jongno's winding alleys where tourist maps didn't reach. Yara had been here once. Her mother's funeral, where distant relatives she'd never met had bowed shallowly and left quickly, as if grief were contagious. The gate opened before she knocked. Han Jae-rin stood in the courtyard, hands clasped behind his back, tailored hanbok jacket catching the late afternoon sun. 56, but ageless in the way wealthy men often were, skin pale as paper, hair slicked into perfect submission. "Kweku-si," he said. Not Kweku-Han. Cutting her father's name away with a smile. "Han Jae-rin-nim." She bowed at exactly the angle protocol required, not deeper. "You brought the file." "I brought questions." His smile didn't reach his eyes. "Come inside. We should discuss this properly." The ancestral shrine room smelled of incense and old wood. Photographs lined the walls, generations of Han faces, pale and serious. Her mother's photo was absent. So was Yara's. "Your mother," Jae-rin said, settling onto a cushion, "was a kind woman. But the marriage was never formalized, not in our records. I have the certificate. A copy can be forged." The air went cold. Yara's hand moved to her bag where the file sat, where years ago she'd altered a single visa renewal date to keep her mother from deportation. A careful change, undetectable unless someone looked closely. And now someone was looking. "You removed my name from the registry," she said. "I corrected an error." Jae-rin adjusted his cuffs, fingers lingering on jade cufflinks. "The family has consulted with legal experts. Your claim is complicated. Complicated. There are procedures, verification processes, blood tests, Perhaps. I have my mother's letters. Letters can be written by anyone. He stood, moving toward the shrine. This family has a reputation. Investors, partnerships, legacy. Your mother understood discretion. I'm sure you do too. The candles on the shrine flickered through the windows were closed. Jae-rin's hand hesitated above the offering table. What are you offering me? Yara asked. A settlement, quiet, generous enough that you can start fresh, somewhere else. You're buying my silence. I'm offering you a choice. The candles went out. All of them. At once. Jae-rin stepped back. His smile finally cracked. And in the darkness, Yara heard breathing that wasn't hers, low, steady, ancient. When the emergency lights kicked on, she was alone in the room. Jae-rin stood in the hallway, pale even for him. Get out, he whispered. Yara walked past him, file still in her bag. At the gate, she turned back. The shrine's door had locked itself from inside. She heard it, the bolt sliding home. If you felt what it's like when the system pretends you don't exist, you're not alone in this story. There are others walking this road with us. Outside, Itaewon's evening crowd swallowed her. Nigerian shopkeepers closing shutters, Korean students laughing toward the subway, the smell of jollof and kimchi mixing in the air. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. The Ancestor remembers your mother's name. Do you? The eviction notice was red. Bright, bureaucratic red, stamped across her door like a wound. Yara stopped 3 steps from her apartment, grocery bags sliding from her grip. Oranges rolled across the hallway. Her mother used to say they brought luck. That citrus kept spirits sweet. The paper fluttered in the draft from the stairwell, official seals catching the dim corridor light. Violation of lease terms, immediate vacate order, property reclamation. Her hands shook as she tore it down. The lease was in her mother's name, transferred to her 8 months ago with a lawyer's signature and stamp. Legal, documented, real. Except now it wasn't. She unlocked the door, the lock still worked at least, and stepped into the small space that smelled like shea butter and her mother's jasmine tea. Everything was exactly as she'd left it this morning. The stack of probate cases on the coffee table, her mother's photo on the shelf, the letters hidden in the false bottom of the jewelry box. The letters. She moved fast, pulling the box down, fingers finding the seam. Still there. 23 letters spanning 15 years, her mother's handwriting mixing English, Twi, and careful Korean. Proof of marriage, proof of love, proof of existence. Her phone rang. Unknown number again. She answered without speaking. Don't go to the police. A man's voice, accented, French touching the edges of his Korean. They're already watching. Who is this? Musa. I work security at the Jongno shrines. We met at your mother's funeral. Yara remembered. Tall, quiet, had bowed properly and said her mother's name right. One of the only ones. How did you get my number? The community talks. Listen, I need to show you something. Tonight. The cafe across from your building. 30 minutes. I don't... The CCTV footage from the Han compound. You need to see what followed you home. The line went dead. Yara sat on the edge of her mother's bed, eviction notice crumpled in her fist. 2 choices, both razor-sharp. Ignore Musa and fight the eviction through official channels with the forged document that could unravel under scrutiny, or meet a stranger who claimed something had followed her. The lights flickered. Once, twice. In the mirror across the room, she saw movement behind her reflection, a shadow that didn't match the furniture, too tall, too still. She turned. Nothing there. When she looked back at the mirror, the shadow was gone. She grabbed her bag and left. The cafe was the kind of place that survived on night shift workers and insomniacs. Bright lights, cheap coffee, plastic chairs bolted to the floor. Musa sat in the back corner, body cam clipped to his jacket, laptop open. He stood when she approached. You came. You said you had footage. Sit first. Coffee. Just show me. He angled the laptop toward her, fingers hovering over the trackpad. I pull CCTV for the Shrine District. Official contract, everything legal. Tonight I was reviewing yesterday's feeds. Standard check. He paused. This isn't standard. He pressed play. The footage showed the Han compound gate, timestamp 1743. Yara walked out, file bag over her shoulder, posture straight despite everything. Normal. Human. Then the camera glitched. Static. Pixelation. The kind of distortion that came from electromagnetic interference. When it cleared, something walked behind her. Not a person. A shape. Translucent in the way heat shimmer makes air visible, tall and deliberate, moving with her pace exactly. Keep watching, Musa said quietly. The shape followed her through 3 camera angles, past the tea house, through the alley, toward the subway entrance. At each transition, the cameras flickered. At the subway stairs, Yara descended alone. The shape remained above ground, standing at the entrance like a sentinel. The timestamp jumped forward, 1922, 30 minutes ago. The shape was outside her apartment building. Yara's throat went dry. What is that? You tell me. You were at the shrine. I didn't do anything. Jae-rin, he tried to buy me off. The candles went out and... Candles went out. Musa leaned back, studying her face. In the Ancestral shrine. All of them? Yes. And the door. Locked itself, from inside. She heard how it sounded. Insane. Impossible. Musa nodded slowly, like she'd confirmed something. The Han family's ancestor. The shrine's been rejecting Jae-rin since he was young. Doors stick, offerings spoil. Shamans won't work there. Old people in Jongno talk about it. They say the ancestor's angry. At him. Maybe. Or maybe angry for someone. His eyes were steady, serious. Your mother married into that family. That makes you blood. And if the ancestor remembers her, this is insane. You saw the footage. Yara's hand found her necklace, the small Adinkra symbol her mother had given her. Sankofa, the bird looking backward. Go back and fetch it. Even if something is following me, what am I supposed to do? Ask a ghost for legal help? You're supposed to decide what you trust more, Seoul's courts or your own bloodline. Musa closed the laptop. Because Jae-rin's moving fast. I checked the property records. Your building's been sold to a Han family subsidiary. The eviction's just the start. Her phone buzzed. Text from Haiwan. Can we meet? Found something in the folklore archives about your family. Might help with the case. Coffee tomorrow. Haiwan, her only friend in the archive department, the one who'd helped translate the oldest letters, who'd cried at her mother's funeral and promised to help however she could. Do you trust her? Musa asked, watching Yara's face. She's been researching the Han family history for me. She knows folklore, ancestral law. That's not what I asked. Yara looked at the text again. Haiwan had been asking a lot of questions lately, about the letters, about which ones Yara kept at home. Helpful questions. I don't know, she admitted. Musa knocked twice on the wooden table. Then test her. Tell her you're keeping the original letters somewhere new. See if that information travels. You think she'd... I think everyone has a price, and Jae-rin's good at finding it. He stood, slinging his jacket on. I'll keep the footage secure, but Yara, you need to choose soon. Fight this publicly with whatever documents you have, or accept that the ancestor's protection might be the only thing keeping you alive. Some stories ask you to pick sides before you know which one is yours. That's the moment that changes everything. Outside, snow had started to fall, early for November, soft and deliberate. Yara watched it through the cafe window, thinking about her mother's letters, about candles that blew out in sealed rooms, about shadows that followed her through cameras. Her phone buzzed again. Hey Won. Actually, tonight works better if you're free. I'm near Itaewon. Have the documents with me. Too eager, too convenient. Yara texted back. Tomorrow's fine. Letters are safe at a friend's place anyway. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Perfect. See you at 10. Musa was already at the door, but he'd seen her face. What happened? I just set the trap, Yara said. Now we see who takes the bait. The tea house sat between a hanbok shop and a pharmacy that had been there since the Japanese occupation, the kind of place where old money met to discuss things that never appeared in newspapers. Yara crouched in the pharmacy's doorway, collar up, breath fogging in the November cold. Across the narrow street, warm light spilled from the tea house windows. Traditional wooden lattice filtered the glow, casting shadow patterns on the cobblestones. Musa stood 20 meters down, body cam hidden beneath his security jacket, pretending to check his phone. They'd been waiting 40 minutes. Then Hai Won appeared, vintage skirt swishing around her knees, leather portfolio tucked under one arm. She paused at the tea house entrance, tucking hair behind her ear, that nervous tell Yara had seen 100 times. Bad news incoming. Except this time Yara was the one about to receive it. Hae-won went inside. Got her, Musa's voice crackled through Yara's earpiece, a cheap radio set from the Namdaemun market. Cameras rolling. Yara's hands were numb. Not from cold. Through the lattice she could see shapes moving, Hae-won settling onto a cushion. And then another figure, taller, deliberate. Han Jae-rin, hanbok jacket perfectly pressed, moving like a man who'd never been told no. Visual confirmed, Musa whispered. He's sitting across from her. Yara watched Hae-won open the portfolio. Even from across the street, she recognized the papers inside, cream-colored, edges yellowed, her mother's handwriting visible in the lamplight. The letters. Copies, Hae-won had promised. Just for research. I'll keep them safe. Jae-rin reached across the table, not grabbing, just extending his hand like a man accepting what was already his. Hae-won hesitated. Her fingers lingered on the portfolio's edge. She's stalling, Musa said, negotiating something. Jae-rin's mouth moved. Hae-won's shoulders dropped. Relief or resignation, impossible to tell. She slid the portfolio across. He didn't open it, didn't need to. Instead, he pulled an envelope from his jacket, thin and white, and placed it where the portfolio had been. Payment. Clean. Transactional. Hae-won took it, tucked it into her bag, stood and bowed. Not deep, not shallow, the exact angle that said, business complete. Yara's vision tunneled. The street sounds, motorbikes, late-night vendors, someone's grandmother scolding a cat, all of it compressed into white noise. She'd told Hae-won everything, every letter, every memory, every small victory her mother had scraped together in a country that wanted her invisible, and Hae-won had sold it for an envelope. Yara, Musa's voice was sharp now. She's coming out. You need to move. But Yara couldn't. Her legs had forgotten how. The tea house door opened. Hae-won stepped into the cold, breath misting, face unreadable in the streetlight. She turned left toward the subway, walking fast. Jae-rin appeared in the doorway behind her, watching. His phone glowed as he typed something. 30 seconds later, a black sedan pulled up. He got in without looking back. Got everything, Musa said, jogging toward Yara's position. Full exchange, clear audio. She's done. Yara finally moved, stepping from the shadows. Where's she going? Subway, we could follow. No. Yara's jaw locked. I'm confronting her. Now. That's not. Now, Musa. He studied her face, then nodded. Your call, but I'm coming with you. They caught up to Haiwan at the subway entrance, the stairwell that descended into Jongno 3Ga Station's fluorescent depths. Commuters flowed around them, office workers, students, a vendor hauling boxes of inventory. Hey, Wan. She spun, eyes wide. Yara? What are you? I thought we were meeting tomorrow. The letters are at a friend's place. Yara stepped closer. Remember? I told you that last night. Hei-Wan's hand moved to her hair, then stopped, the tell she couldn't hide. Right, yes. I had some folklore materials I wanted to cross-reference first, so I thought, you were at the tea house. The color drained from Hei-Wan's face. Around them, the crowd kept moving, indifferent. I can explain. You sold him the letters. Copies, just copies. Yara, listen. He came to me. He knew I'd been researching the Han family history. He offered to fund my publication if I could just verify some details. Verify. Yara's voice could have cut glass. You gave him my mother's words. He already knew about them. The family has records, they just needed... Hei-Wan stopped, realizing too late what she'd admitted. Musa pulled out his phone, turning the screen toward her. The video played silently. Tea house, portfolio, envelope. Hei-Wan's bag slipped from her shoulder. You recorded me. You betrayed her, Musa said flatly. I was helping. Hei-Wan's voice cracked. Do you know what it's like? Begging for grants, watching men half as qualified get published, being told my work on ancestral veneration is too niche. He offered me a way out, and it wasn't even the originals. They're my mother's, Yara said, not yours to sell. Someone had to make a choice. Right here, with subway trains rumbling below, and the whole indifferent city pressing in. Yara could expose Hei-Wan publicly, show the video, destroy her career, make her pay the way people like Yara always paid. Justice, clean and sharp. Or she could bury it. Protect the last original letter Hei-Wan didn't know about, the one still hidden in the jewelry box, and cut her losses. But Musa was already speaking. I'm sending this to the University Ethics Board. Tonight. No, Hei-Wan reached for his phone. He stepped back. You made your choice. Now live with it. Musa, wait. Yara's hand caught his arm. He turned, confused. She sold you out. I know. But if you send that video, Jae-Rin will know we're on to him. He'll move faster, bury everything deeper. Yara looked at Hei-Wan, who stood trembling in the cold. And she'll retaliate. Let her try. She knows about the visa document, the one I altered. Sometimes protecting yourself means protecting the person who hurt you. That's the cost nobody warns you about. Silence. Then Hei-Wan's face changed, calculation replacing fear. You forged immigration papers. To keep my mother from deportation, years ago. That's a felony. That's survival. Yara's hands were fists now. And you're going to tell Jae-Rin, aren't you? Trade it for protection when your career collapses. Hei-Wan's mouth opened, closed. She tucked hair behind her ear again, and Yara knew the answer before she spoke. I don't want to, but if you ruin me, then we're at a standstill. Yara stepped back, putting distance between them. You keep quiet about the forgery. We keep quiet about the letters, and you stay away from me. Yara, I never meant... You meant every part of it. You just didn't think you'd get caught. Hei-Wan looked at Musa, then back to Yara. What about him? He does what I tell him. Yara's voice was ice now. Right. Musa? Musa's jaw worked. He didn't look at Yara. This is a mistake. It's my mistake to make. He pocketed his phone, but his expression said everything. You just chose the wrong side. Haewon gathered her bag, hands shaking. I'm sorry, for what it's worth. It's worth nothing, Yara said. Go. She went, disappearing down the subway stairs, swallowed by the late-night crowd. Musa waited until she was gone. She's going straight to Jae-rin with this. I know. Then why? Because the forgery's real, Musa, and if it comes out, I lose everything. The inheritance, my job, maybe my citizenship. I can't fight Jae-rin and the legal system. Yara's voice cracked. I had to choose survival. You chose silence. The words hit like a punch. Because he was right. She'd done exactly what she always did, made herself smaller, quieter, safer. Survival over truth. You said you'd protect me, she whispered. I said I'd protect you from external threats, not from yourself. Musa adjusted his jacket, body cam still recording everything. I'm keeping the footage, not for the university, for insurance. When Jae-rin moves, and he will, we'll need proof. And us? He looked at her for a long moment. I don't trust people who protect their enemies. He walked away, boots echoing on the pavement. Yara stood alone at the subway entrance, wind cutting through her coat. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number again. The Ancestor does not negotiate. Choose. Above her, a street light flickered and died. Then another. Then all of them, darkness spreading down the block like spilled ink. In that darkness, she felt it, the presence from the shrine, tall and patient and waiting. Her phone lit up with a new message. Jae-rin this time, number no longer hidden, cleansing ritual, ancestral shrine. Tomorrow, 6 p.m., media invited. Come if you dare claim what's yours. A public reckoning, cameras, witnesses, no more shadows. Truth or survival, she couldn't have both anymore. The shrine courtyard blazed with television lights, turning sacred space into spectacle. Yara arrived at 5:47 p.m., 13 minutes early, the last original letter folded inside her jacket pocket. The paper was warm against her ribs, her mother's handwriting from 2009, the year she'd gotten sick, the year she'd written about wanting to be buried in both countries because her daughter belonged to both worlds. Camera crews clustered near the gate. KBS, JTBC, even a foreign correspondent with a BBC lanyard. Reporters murmured into microphones, framing shots of the ancestral shrine behind them. Someone had leaked this perfectly. Traditional family drama, foreign controversy, potential supernatural element. Primetime gold. Yara Kweku-Han? A reporter stepped forward, microphone extended. Is it true you're claiming? No comment. She pushed past, but more gathered. Phones lifted, cameras swiveled. Are you contesting the Han families? Did your mother actually marry? Is the registry forgery connected to... A hand caught her elbow. Musa appearing from nowhere, body cam conspicuously absent. This way. He guided her through the crowd toward the shrine entrance. She hadn't expected him, not after last night. Thought you didn't trust me, she said. I don't, but I'm not letting you face this alone. His eyes scanned the courtyard, cataloging exits. Jae-rin's inside. 20 guests, all family allies. 3 shamans. He paid top dollar. The Ancestor won't care how much he paid. Maybe, but if this goes wrong, you need a witness who isn't on his payroll. The shrine doors stood open, spilling incense smoke into the cold evening. Inside, candles lined the altar, hundreds of them, excessive and deliberate. Han Jae-rin knelt at the center in formal hanbok, white and pristine, surrounded by shamans in traditional dress. Their bells chimed softly. He looked up when Yara entered, smiled without teeth. Kweku-si, how kind of you to attend. The guests, elderly Han relatives, business partners in expensive suits. A few academics Yara recognized from folklore conferences turned to stare. She felt their assessment. Too dark, too foreign, too other for this room of photographs where every face was pale. "You invited me," Yara said. "I invited you to witness the truth." Jae-rin stood, gesturing to the altar. "This shrine has been troubled. Offerings spoil. Doors stick. Some say it's because foreign influence has corrupted our bloodline." He let the words hang. "Tonight we cleanse what doesn't belong." A shaman stepped forward, bells ringing sharper now. She began chanting, voice rising and falling in patterns older than Seoul's skyscrapers. The candles flickered, all of them, simultaneously. Cameras captured it, that impossible synchronization. "The Ancestor is restless," the shaman announced. "There is pollution here, something that claims kinship without right." Yara's hand found the letter in her pocket. She could leave. Walk out with cameras watching. Let Jae-rin have his performance. Survive by disappearing. Or she could speak. "My mother's name was Ama Kweku." Her voice cut through the chanting. "She married Han Seok-jin in 1996. I have the documentation." "You have forgeries," Jae-rin said smoothly. "The registry shows no such marriage." "The registry was altered." "By whom?" He stepped closer, jade cufflinks catching candlelight. "You work in probate, Kweku-si. You understand how documentation works, how easily it can be adjusted." The threat was naked now. "I know about your visa forgery. Speak, and I'll destroy you." Musa moved to her side. "She has the letters." "Letters prove nothing," Jae-rin said. "Anyone can write letters. Not in my mother's hand, not with details only family would know." Yara pulled the letter out, unfolding it carefully. "This one's from 2009. She wrote about your father, Seok-jin, how he loved jjajangmyeon from the Chinese place in Itaewon, how he'd burn rice because he always forgot the timer, how he cried when I was born because he'd wanted a daughter his whole life." The room went still. "Those are private family matters," one of the elderly relatives whispered. "Exactly," Yara said. "How would my mother know them if she wasn't family?" Jae-rin's face remained smooth, but his hand trembled slightly as he adjusted his cuffs. "Your mother worked in our household. She had access. She was married to your brother, and you erased her because investors don't like messy international connections. The cameras were recording everything now. Reporters leaned in. The head shaman's chanting stopped abruptly. Something's wrong. The temperature dropped, not gradually, but instantly, like someone had opened a freezer door. Breath misted. The candles on the altar began extinguishing themselves in a pattern, left to right, methodical and deliberate. "Continue the ritual," Jae-rin commanded. The shaman backed away. "I can't, it's already here." The shrine's main door, the one that led to the ancestral tablets, swung open though no one touched it. Darkness spilled out, thick and tangible, and in that darkness, a shape. Tall, translucent, wearing hanbok that predated the modern cut, hair bound in the old style. The Ancestor. Cameras captured it, every news station, every phone, undeniable and impossible. Guests scrambled backward. One of the shamans fainted. The remaining candles blew out, leaving only television lights. The Ancestor moved toward Jae-rin, each step silent but heavy, as if the air itself grew denser. It stopped 3 feet away, and when it spoke, the voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere. "You dishonor your brother's wife." Jae-rin fell to his knees, face bloodless. "Ancestor, please, I was protecting the family. You were protecting your shame." The ghost turned toward Yara. Its face was undefined, features shifting like smoke, but its eyes, those were clear, ancient, knowing. Amma's daughter. You carry her blood and his name. Why do you hide? Yara's throat closed. They'll destroy me if I don't. They destroy you already, slowly. The letter trembled in her hands. Two choices, both impossible. Reveal everything. The marriage, the erasure, Jae-rin's crimes, and become a target. Lose her job. Face prosecution for the visa forgery. Truth at the cost of survival. Or accept the ancestor's protection. Bind herself to its power. And disappear from public record entirely. Exist only in the spiritual realm, safe but erased. Survival at the cost of truth. I can't choose, she whispered. You already have. Every day you stay silent. The ancestor extended a translucent hand, not threatening, offering. Come. I will protect you as I protected your mother when the world would not. Behind her, Musa's voice. Don't. She turned. He stood in the doorway, surrounded by reporters and cameras, all of them recording. You take that hand, you disappear, he said. Maybe not physically, but legally, spiritually. You become a ghost story. Is that what your mother wanted? My mother wanted me to survive. She wanted you to exist. Musa pulled out his phone, the footage from the tea house queued up. You've got evidence, witnesses, cameras. You've got me. Fight this in daylight, not shadows. Jae-rin lunged for the phone. You can't. That's private. It's evidence of conspiracy and fraud. Musa stepped back, holding it high. And it's going to every news outlet in this room. The reporters surged forward, hands out, questions exploding. Yara looked at the ancestor's outstretched hand, then at Musa, then at Jae-rin, still kneeling. Mask finally cracked. If you've ever had to choose between being seen and being safe, you know there's no right answer. Only the one you can live with. I choose truth, Yara said. The ancestor's hand lowered. Then speak it. All of it. She turned to face the cameras, letter clutched tight. My name is Yara Kweku-Han. My mother, Amma Kweku, married Han Seok-jin in 1996. I am their daughter. Han Jae-rin erased our records, burned my mother's letters, and attempted to buy my silence. She took a breath. And yes, I forged one immigration document to keep my mother from deportation. I'll face those consequences, but I won't be erased anymore. The cameras ate it up. Reporters shouted questions. Jae-rin stood slowly, face a careful mask again. You've just confessed to a felony on national television. I know. Yara's hands were steady now. But so did you. Fraud, document destruction, bribery. Musa has it all. My lawyers will... Will what? Musa stepped forward, phone still recording. Suppress footage that's already uploading to cloud servers. The Han family's finished, Jae-rin. You just got caught on camera being rejected by your own ancestor. The ghost hadn't moved. It stood between them, watching. The daughter chooses exposure, it said. I will not protect her from the world's teeth. I'm not asking you to, Yara said. I'm asking you to witness. The ancestor inclined its head. So witnessed. Then it faded, not dramatically, just gradually, like morning mist under sun. The temperature rose, the shrine doors closed gently, the cameras kept rolling. Jae-rin's phone rang. Then again, then continuously. Investors, partners, lawyers, everyone who'd built their reputation on the Han family's purity myth, watching it collapse in real time. He looked at Yara with something that might have been respect, or might have been hatred. You've destroyed yourself. Maybe, she said, but I'm done being invisible. Outside, the crowd had tripled, news vans, police, and at the back, near the gate, African aunties from Itaewon, Korean neighbors, the community that had whispered about her, now standing witness. Musa touched her elbow. Police want a statement about everything. I know. Your job's gone. Probably your visa, too. Legal battle's going to be brutal. I know that, too. He studied her face. Was it worth it? Yara looked at her mother's letter, then at the shrine where the ancestor had spoken her name. Ask me in a year. Fair enough. He knocked twice on the doorframe. For what it's worth, I trust you now. Because I chose truth. Because you finally chose something. The police were waiting. The cameras were waiting. The whole messy, impossible fight was waiting. But for the first time since her mother died, Yara Kweku-Han existed in official record and sacred memory both. Some stories don't end with victory. They end with visibility. And sometimes, that's the only win that matters. If this one found you when you needed it, you're part of the story now, too. She walked toward the cameras, letter in hand, ready to speak her truth until someone finally listened.